So this looks like a 2007 2.0 liter 4-cylinder Ford Focus. I'm doing the thermostat. Where's the thermostat? It's down here. The whole housing assembly. 3 bolts. Comes like this from the dealership. That's what I'm doing. Kind of mounts in there just like this. 3 8mm bolts. And here's my tools. Got my needle nose, angled needle nose, a pry bar just for pulling off the hose a little bit, and then extension, an 8mm, could be 5/16 ratchet. First thing I do is take this hose off the pipe. There's a clamp, and I get that with my needle nose pliers right down here. Oh, actually also I take off this connector right here. That's the AC connectors right there. I take that off, put it down to the side. Also difficult to see, that connector right down there actually attaches up on a little clip, and I remove that too so I can get to that pipe right there. Take the clamp off with my angled needle nose, slide it back, then I can access all 3 of the bolts with my swivel, looking down in this hole. And also with my hand I can reach in here too, get my fingers on most of this stuff, so it's really not too bad for me. I got all 3 bolts loose, and I can pull it off. Now that I pulled it off, I have pretty easy access, you see, to that clamp right there. I just use my needle nose or another pair of pliers, and I'm going to take that clamp off, and then I'll have it out. So use my pliers, I was able to slide that back there, and then get a screwdriver or pry bar, and we'll get in there, and we'll just get this hose off, and we'll pull the piece out. So I twist it and see if it comes loose, but no, so I'm going to need to get a tool in there and just work it around this hose a little bit, and we'll get it right off. So this comes with the gasket molded onto it. I'm just going to go down there and wipe off the surface with a rag, just make sure there's no chunks of anything, and then I'll just mount this onto the hose. Then I'll test mount it to make sure my holes are pretty good and lined up. Then I'll pull it back out a little bit so I can get the clamp and re-slide it back on to my thermostat housing. Just got the new one down in here. I'm going to try and get my pliers on here. Going to try and line up the clamp on the grooves on the hose. There we go, that looks good, see? Fit it back down in the hole there. Probably reach in there with my hand. Like that. I might be able to just hold it with one hand and get it started with my other hand, or with the swivel and socket. But that's really all you gotta do. Just gonna hold that there, and of course you start all 3. Don't tighten any of them until you get them all started by hand. Don't use a gun either, or you might get stripped or stuck. Just giving you a quick shot of my ratchet down there. I think I got a couple started. A little bit tricky, but again, you just get them started like that with your ratchet, and once they're all started, then go ahead and tighten them up. So here we are at the beginning or the end. It's all put back together. Connectors back in place. We'll just go ahead and take the cap off, and we'll fill it with a 50-50 mix of the proper coolant. Let it run for about 5 minutes. Should get some heat inside the vehicle. If you don't, go ahead and shut it off. And carefully take the cap off and see if you can add some coolant to it. Might have an air pocket. Otherwise, if you're getting some good heat, go ahead and run it. Half hour or so, going to test drive 5 to 10 miles. Should get fully up to operating temperature. Bring it back, let it cool off, and then just make sure it's in the range indicated on there. It says cold fill range right there. Good luck to you on your thermostat replacement. Alright, we got it in between the hot and cold range, or the full cold range there. Got it running. Go in the car. It's probably just been, like I said, 5 minutes. You can see the temperature gauge is moving up a little bit, and I can feel it. You can't feel it yet. Don't have that technology, but I'm getting some warm air. So I'm feeling good about letting this continue to run. We'll let it run for a little while, 15 minutes or so, and then I'll probably go for a test drive with it. Keep an eye on the fluid level before I do that. We can call this a job done then after that.